guys can hear me or not. Very low volume, no sound. Okay. Let's see here. Let me know if you can hear me. Looks like I may be having an audio issue. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. Hopefully you can hear me now. Should be better. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to wait a couple minutes for everybody to show up. I'm going to give it a couple minutes here for everybody to get the notification that I went live. So just going to wait a couple minutes here. So stand by. Just waiting for everybody to join in. We still don't have everybody in the chat here, so I'm just going to wait for everybody to show up.
Tango. I say again, please authenticate Papa Alpha Tango. No copy. Over.
Let me just see what you guys are saying here. Mark Dunphy, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good night. And thanks to all the moderators for showing up. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes here for everybody to tune in before I get started with the breaking news. So it looks like we're on the verge of war with Russia. It looks like Russia and NATO are about to go to war. So I want to update you guys on that because, the mainstream media, they're only talking about Trump, election. That's all they're talking about and nothing else. Which, it's just, for them, it's a ton of ad revenue. All the drama surrounding the election, they make a ton of money from all the ads. Everybody's watching, but we're on the verge of war with Russia right now, guys. So I want to just play some audio clips for you. This is the emergency action messages here. Someone said I have double audio. Is that true? Can somebody confirm if I have double audio? I shouldn't have double audio, but maybe somebody's just not really knowing how to use the internet properly. Okay, no double audio. Okay, I figured that. Could have been a troll or something trying to throw me off course and distract me. That's what trolls are known to do. So thanks to all the moderators. Appreciate you guys. Joe, Vanessa, Ross, Thank you guys for tuning in. Michael, Gail, Smoking Swamp, thank you guys so much. K. Paul, good to see you. Hope you're having a good start to your week. Light Source Engraving, thank you so much for your gift. I appreciate it. I sent you an email, by the way. So we're just going to wait another minute or so for everybody to join in before I get started. Lee Billy, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. In loving memory of my mother, Virginia Billy, the first prepper I ever knew. Wow, I'm sorry to hear about that, Lee. Sorry to hear that. Looks like you lost your mom. Was that recent or was that a while ago? Sorry to hear about that. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. So sorry for your loss. I couldn't imagine losing my mom. That's very difficult. So I'm gonna play some sounds here. What this is a U.S. nuclear attack option being broadcasted to U.S. nuclear forces. This was today. We have unprecedented nuclear war plane activity today. U.S. nuclear forces are on super high alert today. I can't emphasize to you how serious the situation is. We are literally we're going to war with Russia. It's happening very soon. It could happen as soon as this week. Okay. And let me just play this for you while we wait another minute or so for everybody to tune in.
Authenticate Papa Alpha Tango. I say again, please authenticate Papa Alpha Tango. How copy? Over.
So we had all these weird emergency action messages today. Here's another one.
This is Radiator. Please stand by at this time. Over. Over.
But just lots and lots of emergency action messages today. If you don't know what an emergency action message is, that's our nuclear forces communicating. Okay, so I think I'm just going to get started now. I think everybody's showed up already. Unfortunately, I can't do my entrance anymore, my intro, because YouTube demonetizes the stream anytime I use that intro. So unfortunately, I won't be able to play my intro anymore. I'm sorry, guys. What's going on, Sheldon? Thank you for the donation. Yes, there are a lot of strato tankers in the air and rivet joints. Thank you so much. Was it you that sent me an email earlier about that? Somebody sent me an email about a lot of aerial refuelers. So U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert, guys. Okay, we had as many as 7 nuclear war command and control planes in the air today. Back-to-back emergency action messages all day long. Let me just share with you guys some screenshots here. Let me see if I can get some good ones here for you. It's just so much news today. It's insane. So as you can see here, 5 nuclear war command and control planes, Boeing E-6B Mercury. These are the nuclear war communications relay planes or command and control planes. Okay, they're responsible for communicating with our nuclear forces during a nuclear war. So here we have 5 of them plus a B-52. There was also an E-4 Night Watch. That's the presidential doomsday plane in the air. There was also a nuke sniffer plane in the air. And there was also a lot of reconnaissance activity over Europe. Okay. So here you can see 5 nuclear war command and control planes. You can see Rough 07, Eros 67, Daffy 71, Ketch 67, Purdy 70, and then the B-52. And then here we have two other ones. Okay, actually, this was part of those five. Let me see if I can show you the two other ones. I have so many screenshots; it's just hard for me to find them all. But there were 7 nuclear war command and control planes in the air today, guys. Just absolutely insane. There were so many I couldn't even fit them all on my screen. Um, you know, here's another screenshot. You can see some other nuclear war command and control planes. One of them was actually looping over our missile fields, which is very interesting. One of them was looping over North Dakota, where we have the missile field over there, then over northern Montana, and then it was also looping over western Nebraska. So that's where our 3 missile fields are. I'll show you guys a close-up shot of that. But 7 nuclear war command and control planes in the air, presidential doomsday plane, nuke sniffer plane over Wisconsin, and a B-52 nuclear bomber, all in the air today. Back-to-back emergency action messages. Those are nuclear attack options. We have some breaking news that Swedish authorities are recommending that residents of Sweden have a supply of food and medicine for 3 months because Russia is planning to attack Sweden this year. Okay, I'll say that again. Swedish authorities are recommending that Swedish citizens or people who live in Sweden have a supply of food and medicine for 3 months because Russia is planning to attack Sweden this year. Okay. And this Friday, there's going to be an unplanned emergency summit of the Weimar Triangle. The Weimar Triangle is France, Germany, and Poland. Okay, so France, Germany, and Poland are going to have an emergency meeting on Friday. Okay, the prime minister of, I think the prime minister or the president of Poland is going to be there. Emmanuel Macron is going to be there, and Olaf Scholz, the chancellor of Germany, is going to be there. And Donald Tusk, the prime minister of Poland, said to Polish News that the situation is difficult. There is nothing to hide. And he's talking about the situation with Russia in Ukraine and also with Europe. So emergency meeting on Friday. Okay, Germany, Poland, and France. And also on Thursday, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is going to be holding a national address to discuss the possibility of sending French troops into Ukraine. Okay. I mean, that is just absolutely huge, guys. Okay. Emmanuel Macron will be holding a national address this Thursday, okay, about sending troops into Ukraine. And then the day after that, the Weimar Triangle, Poland, Germany, and France are going to meet, okay, for an emergency meeting. Swedish authorities recommending residents of Sweden to have 3 months of food and medicine because Russia is planning to attack Sweden this year. You see what's going on here, guys? The U.S. State Department has approved the sale of long-range missiles to Poland. This was announced today. Okay, the JSAM-ER missiles are going to be purchased by Poland, and the JSAM-ER missiles are 600-mile range missiles, I believe, or 1,000 miles. But that is very, very serious that suddenly the State Department would approve the sale of these missiles to Poland when Poland has requested them for years. They've wanted to buy them, and the U.S. hasn't approved it. And now all of a sudden they're approving them. And you'll see why that's concerning, because Germany has decided to put all of their Taurus missiles on combat alert. This was reported by German newspaper Die Welt. Okay, so Germany putting all of their long-range missiles on combat alert. Okay, their Taurus missiles, those are the missiles that There was that leaked conversation with the German Air Force officers, and they were talking about using them to strike the Crimean Bridge. Well, now Germany is putting those missiles on combat alert. And at the same time, the U.S. State Department approves the sale of extended range missiles to Poland. At the same time, Emmanuel Macron is holding a national address on sending troops to Ukraine this Thursday. And then Friday, the meeting of the Weimar Triangle and Sweden telling its people to prepare for war with Russia, that Russia is planning to attack Sweden this year. So, guys, it's going down. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. This is serious, guys. Okay. The writing is on the wall. If you refuse to believe it, that's your problem. Okay. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to show evidence of anything. I'm not here to, show my sources. Okay. I'm not here to convince skeptics. Okay. If you're an open-minded person, this is the channel for you. If you're closed-minded and you want me to produce sources for every single thing I say, this is not the place for you. Okay. I'm not here to convince anybody. This is going down. There's going to be a war between Russia and Europe. It's coming. Okay. So something's about to go down this week. It could be that Russia may launch a surprise attack on Europe this week, possibly. Okay, because these emergency action messages are nonstop. I've never seen this many nuclear warplanes in the air in a single day. I'm trying to find some better screenshots for you guys. I just have so many. I'll show you guys later on some of the screenshots here of all these nuclear warplanes. I'm just going to go through some more news here. Apparently, Belarus has put their military on combat alert as well. Let me show you guys some pictures here. Belarus has put their military on combat alert. We had that potential coup situation this morning as well. There's just so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything. But Belarus has put their forces on combat alert. Okay, so that's a sign that something is about to go down. We have some pictures here that were released by the Belarusian government. Okay, so this is an official source for those of you guys that are real anal about my sources. Okay, you can see here the Belarusian government. You can see all these tanks here, okay, on a train. This is in Belarus. Okay, so Belarus has put their military on high alert. Okay, I reported on this yesterday. They're doing training. So very concerning situation in Belarus. It looks like potentially Belarus is going to be involved in this war with NATO. So we have to be prepared, guys. Okay, things are really escalating quick. Let's see what else here. 300,000 NATO soldiers are in a high degree of combat readiness for redeployment to Poland. This was stated by Deputy Chief of the General Staff of the Polish Army, Karol Dymanowski. Previously, there were 40,000 soldiers trained to become NATO's shield, but now there are 300,000 in high readiness. These soldiers will arrive in the country not after the start of the war, but before it. Okay, so we have the Deputy Chief of the General Staff of the Polish Army saying that 300,000 NATO soldiers are basically on combat alert for redeployment to Poland. Okay, he said previously there were 40,000 trained and ready to go. Now he's saying there's 300,000 in high readiness. These soldiers will arrive in the country not after the start of the war, but before. Okay, so NATO's preparing, guys. Okay, U.S. officials say an Israeli military operation in Rafah would likely lead to a significant shift in U.S. policy including an end to the defense of Israel at the United Nations and restrictions on the use of U.S. weapons by Israeli defense forces in Gaza. This was reported by Axios. So looks like the U.S. is going to hold back some weapons from Israel if Israel goes into Rafah. That's definitely not good. And for the second time today, the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations put out a missile alert for the Russian city of Belgorod. And Politico is reporting that the U.S. is planning to send a number of additional ATACMS missiles to Ukraine as part of a new $300 million package of military aid for Ukraine, according to two U.S. officials with knowledge of the discussions. The U.S. will send Kyiv additional anti-personnel, anti-material, or APAM missiles, which are an older version of the long-range ATACMS, according to one of the officials. The missiles travel 100 miles and carry warheads containing hundreds of cluster bomblets. The officials were granted anonymity to speak ahead of an announcement. The U.S. first revealed that it had secretly sent an initial shipment of APAMs in September after Joe Biden approved the plan to provide Kyiv with longer-range weapons. The administration has debated sending additional ATACMs for weeks as Ukraine struggles to prevent Russia from making battlefield gains, according to a Defense Department official. The White House announced on Tuesday that it would send an emergency package of aid to Ukraine, including artillery rounds and additional rounds for 155 millimeter howitzers and the guided multiple launch rocket system. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters that the Pentagon was able to use cost savings from previous contracts to make a modest amount of new security aid available right now without impacting U.S. military readiness. If history is any guide, ATACMs may not appear on the public list of weapons, including in the latest package. Officials did not disclose that they were providing the missile in the first shipment last summer due to concerns over operational security. So it looks like the U.S. is getting ready to send Ukraine ATACMS missiles, according to two U.S. defense officials. And they're saying that they're going to be the cluster warheads for them, which is not really what Ukraine needs. They don't need cluster warheads. They need regular singular warheads, not cluster warheads. Okay, the cluster warheads are useless. Okay, they're only good for fighting in trenches. That's it. You can't really damage anything with cluster munitions. Bradley Moore, thank you so much for the donation and for all the support. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. MD, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. And Open Minds, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. And Mr. Landfill, thank you for gifting 20 memberships. Judy Fugate, good to see you. I hope you're having a good Monday. Thank you for the 20 memberships. Rabbit, not that long ago when 2 to 3 planes were uncommon. Yeah, exactly. It's not that long ago that 2 to 3 of the Boeing E-6 Mercuries, the nuclear war command and control planes, were, seeing 2 or 3 of them in the air was considered to be unusual. Now it's like 4, 5, and 6 of these planes in the air is normal now. Okay, but I counted 7, and my buddy Duramax News counted 8. Okay, 7 or 8 of these nuclear war command and control planes in the air. I cannot stress to you how serious that is. Okay, I have not seen that many in one day since last summer, at the end of last summer, right before the October 7 situation, the October 7 massacre in Israel, when Hamas attacked Israel. There were like 6 or 7 in the air that day. But this is unprecedented. We have just massive numbers of these planes. It's hard to keep track of them all. These emergency action messages are just nonstop. The emergency action messages are nonstop today, nonstop, all day long. It's just been absolutely insane. So our forces are on the highest level of readiness possible. we could be at DEFCON 2 right now. Okay, yes, I'm saying that. We are potentially at DEFCON 2 right now, based on what I've seen today. I think we're going to war with Russia, guys. It's coming. Okay, on Thursday, Emmanuel Macron is going to announce that he's sending troops into Ukraine. And then Friday, they're going to have that emergency meeting with Germany, France, and Poland. What do you think they're going to be talking about? I'm sure that's what they're going to be talking about. Sweden telling its people to prepare and have 3 months of food and water and medicine because Russia is going to attack Sweden this year. I mean, it's as clear as day. Whether whether we want to believe it or not, it's happening. It's going to happen, whether we like it or not. It's going to happen. Okay, so get prepared, guys. I'm trying to warn you now ahead of time so you have a leg up on everybody else. Okay, because most people refuse to believe that something like this could happen, but it's going to happen, unfortunately, and we're seeing the signs of that. Okay. Um, The Israeli army said Tuesday that it hit 4,500 Hezbollah targets in Lebanon and Syria over the past 5 months, killing 300 of the group's fighters and wounding more than 750. The targets were hit from the air and from the ground, the army said in a statement, and included weapons storage facilities, military structures intended for Hezbollah's offensive activity, and operational command and control centers. So that's insane. 4,500 targets hit by Israel, Hezbollah targets. That's a massive amount. Hungary summoned the U.S. ambassador after Biden said Prime Minister Viktor Orban was out to build a dictatorship. And the head of the Estonian Interior Ministry has been declared wanted in Russia. And the Romanian president is going to run for the post of NATO Secretary General. So that's pretty interesting. And the Netherlands said that they're not going to send its military into Ukraine, the country's defense minister said. So want to update you guys on this potential coup in Russia. A lot of people got really upset that I reported that. And, that's not my problem, guys. Whether you like the news or not is not my problem. That's your problem. Okay, I reported exactly what was happening at the time. I thought there was a coup about to go down, and all signs pointed to it. And I'm not ashamed of reporting that. Okay, but there were just a massive number of trolls complaining, a lot of nasty comments. It's just unnecessary. But this is coming from RT. This is Russian news. The Russian news sources are saying that they basically stopped this coup this morning, which is not true. They're still actually fighting right now. But the Russian government is saying that they stopped this invasion, essentially. These were the Russian partisan groups. They did a number of attacks last year on Russia. And, they did another attack this morning, and for all we know, they're still in Russia. They've taken control of some towns, I believe, and they've taken some tanks. The information coming out is very limited at this time, but it's very possible that they could go all the way to Moscow because there's thousands of them, and they have tanks as well. Okay, but the Russian Ministry of Defense is saying that they stopped it already, which is just a lie, basically. But I'll read to you what Russia is saying about this. Ukrainian efforts to launch raids into Russia's Belgorod and Kursk regions on Tuesday morning have been thwarted, with Kiev's troops suffering significant losses, the defense ministry in Moscow has reported. The Ukrainian military, supported by tanks and armored combat vehicles, attacked Belgorod region simultaneously from 3 directions at around 3 a.m. local time after first conducting a heavy bombardment of civilian infrastructure, the ministry said. All attacks were ultimately repelled by the Russian forces, the ministry reported. It claimed that Ukrainian troops were forced to retreat without breaching the border after suffering heavy losses and being targeted by missiles, artillery, and aviation. Kiev's forces lost up to 60 servicemen, 5 tanks, and 1 armored combat vehicle in the failed attack on the Belgorod region, the ministry stated. So they're saying, oh yeah, we destroyed this incursion, which is, it's just a straight up lie. They're just straight up lying about it, okay? Because they don't want Russians to know that this is actually going on. Here's another headline from RT. Russia repels saboteur attack in Kursk region. Kiev launched nearly a dozen drones while a saboteur group attempted to break through the border. The local governor has said Russian air defenses intercepted 11 Ukrainian drones over the Kursk region. So that's what the Russian media is saying. But what's very concerning is that Russia is now blaming some woman. They're blaming Ukraine for some woman who died. They're saying that a Ukrainian drone strike killed a woman in Kursk. A shell directly hit a residential building in the community, which is located close to the Ukrainian border. One person was killed, another seriously wounded by Ukrainian forces shelling of the village of Kulbaki in Russia's Kursk region. Roman Starovoit, the local governor, has said. Okay, so you see where this is going. Russia is going to be blaming, Ukraine for all these drone strikes. They've launched like dozens and dozens of drones into Russian territory, and they're going to blame these drone attacks for civilian deaths. They're going to say that Ukraine is attacking Russian civilians, and we have to act, and stuff like that. So this could potentially cause Putin to do something crazy, like potentially launch nukes at Ukraine, which I think is very possible. Um, so let me just share some footage with you guys from this coup attempt this morning, which, as far as we know, is still ongoing. Okay, we haven't heard any information that it's over, except from Russian propaganda news sources. So here we have a video of somebody filming out their window in Russia, and you can hear the shots in the background. Okay, so that was this morning. And let's see, we have some other footage here. Here we have some footage that was released by one of these Russian partisan groups this morning, and it shows these Russian soldiers running for their lives when these partisans were coming through the town over there in Kursk. These Russian soldiers were basically running for their lives. They abandoned their posts basically because they did not want to fight these Russian partisans, so they were just fleeing. Okay, and we saw that happen during the Prigozhin uprising when Prigozhin was trying to go to Moscow. There were a lot of Russian troops that actually joined Wagner, or at the very least just moved out of Wagner's way. So, there they are running. Okay. So the situation is escalating, guys. NATO is on high alert. Okay, there's going to be a war between NATO and Russia very, very soon. Here's the picture I wanted to show you earlier of the Belarusian tanks. Look at all these tanks, guys, these T-72s. And these very well could be Russian tanks because there's a lot of Russian troops in Belarus. So, these could even be Russian tanks. I mean, there's a lot of tanks here. I don't think Belarus has that many tanks. Their military is extremely dismal. So, I highly doubt that those are all Belarusian tanks, okay? But the Belarus military is on high alert right now. What's going on, John Hoover? Good to see you. So yeah, looks like things are about to pop off. Here we have some more footage from this morning showing these Russian partisans moving through parts of Russia here, and they actually had tanks with them. Obviously, these Russian partisans are armed and supported by Ukraine and the West. I have no doubt about it. There were some indications that Putin was evacuated to Siberia last night. I'll show you guys the flight paths of that. There were 6 Russian presidential doomsday planes that went to Siberia. So it's possible that they tried to evacuate Putin out of Moscow when this was going on this morning. And we don't know where he is right now. But what's interesting is those planes flew to Siberia and then they flew back. So I don't know what that was about. But it's possible that they were evacuating Putin. I mean, I don't understand why else they would have 6 Russian presidential doomsday planes going east to Siberia. I mean, they don't do that for fun, okay, unless he had some pre-planned trip. But, the timing is very interesting that they would suddenly send 6 Russian doomsday planes to Siberia. But here you can see that tank of the Russian partisans. So this coup attempt is still underway, guys. It's still underway. Russian media is saying that they quelled it, but there's no other confirmation of that from any reliable sources. And the Russian media is not a reliable source. They're full of crap. Okay, they're lying on purpose to make it look like everything is under control. So you can't go by what the Russian media says. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see how far they go. Are they going to be able to go deeper into Russia, or what's their plan? Are they just going to try to create another front for Russia? Open up another front, something that they have to worry about. Is that what they're trying to do here, or are they actually trying to go to Moscow? But the leader of these partisan groups said that they're going to be fighting on through the election, okay, all the way to the election, which I believe is this Friday. So I'll show you a video of him speaking in a second here. I want to show you guys more of these nuclear war command and control planes, doomsday planes. So this was earlier today. You can see the time here, 2046 UTC time. You could see one presidential doomsday plane that went from Offutt Air Base to Spokane, which is kind of unusual. They usually don't go to Spokane that much. That's where we have one of our aerial refueling bases, a lot of aerial refuelers there. But here we have the nuke sniffer plane that was flying over northern Wisconsin earlier, okay? These planes detect radiation in the atmosphere. It was looping over Green Bay and then over here in Duluth, okay? So very unusual. Then we had this B-52 nuclear bomber up in the air all afternoon and all evening. Okay, it flew over the Appalachians, and then it went over Michigan, and then it looked like it was going to go towards Canada, and then it disappeared from the flight tracker for a little while, and then it came back down through the Midwest. Here we have some more nuclear war command and control planes. Okay, it's hard for me to show them all because there were just so many. They can't even fit on my screen, as you can see. But this one here was looping over our missile fields. Okay, one was looping over North Dakota here, or it was doing a loop over North Dakota. There was one loop over here over Montana, and then another loop over Nebraska. Now, these nuclear war command and control planes can actually remotely launch our Minuteman III ICBMs. Okay, so they have what's known as the airborne launch control systems. So if something were to happen with our ground-based missiles, if let's say they couldn't be launched from the ground, then these planes could launch them from the air if needed. Okay, Here was another nuclear war command and control plane over the West Coast, multiple over the Midwest here. One was out in the Atlantic there. So just so many nuclear war command and control planes. It's ridiculous, guys. It's just absolutely insane. So we also had the Polish president and the Polish prime minister visit the White House today. They met with Biden, and this is extremely concerning because, for first of all, for there to be the president and prime minister of one country in the White House, that's obvious that something is going on. For both of them to be there at the same time, and then politically, these guys are total opposites. Okay, the Polish president is right wing, the prime minister is left wing. They're complete opposites. Okay, so for them to both go to the White House means that the situation is dire. Okay, I want to just read to you some quotes from Biden during this meeting that he had with them. He said, "We must act before it literally is too late. Russia won't stop at Ukraine. Putin will keep going, putting Europe, the United States, and the entire free world at risk." Okay, so strong words there from Biden. So the situation is escalating, guys. Very serious situation. And in case you missed my update earlier, the Polish president wrote an article in the Washington Post saying that Russia has been spending 30% of their GDP on the military. Okay, Russia has gone into a wartime economy now, and the Polish president has basically confirmed that, saying that they're spending 30% of their GDP on the military. Okay, that is a sign that they're preparing for war with Nato. Okay, he also said there was some other disturbing information that they had. Besides that, he said that, let's see, what did he say here? In an opinion piece for the Washington Post, Polish President Duda argued that Russia was switching its economy to war mode, allocating close to 30% of its annual budget to arm itself. This figure and other data coming out of Russia are alarming, Duda wrote. Okay, so the Polish president is very concerned about that, okay, because obviously there's a good chance that Putin is going to try to attack Poland. But, Swedish authorities are saying that Russia is going to attack Sweden this year, guys. Germany putting their Taurus missiles on combat alert. Poland is receiving a shipment of the JSAM-ER missiles. Okay, here's a press release about that. Okay, Poland, AGM-158 joint air-to-surface standoff missile with extended range. The State Department has made a determination approving a possible foreign military sale to the government of Poland of AGM-158 joint air-to-surface standoff missiles with extended range all-up rounds and related elements of logistics and program support for an estimated cost of $1.7 billion. The government of Poland has requested to buy up to 821 JSAM-ER all-up rounds. Also included are AGM-158 JSAM classified test equipment, weapon support, weapon system support, integration and test support and equipment, classified software delivery and support, unclassified publications and technical documentation, transportation, U.S. government and contractor engineering, technical and logistics support services, blah, blah, blah. 821 JSAM-ERs, guys. That is massive. 821 of these. That is ridiculous, okay? So, like I said, the U.S. government has held off on giving these to Poland for years. They didn't want to give it to Poland because they don't have a whole lot of them. And I think only Finland and South Korea have them besides the U.S. These are the extended range JSAM missiles. So I think they have a range of It's either going to be like 600 miles or 1,000 miles. Can't remember the exact range, but they're long range cruise missiles. Okay. They're like double the range of Storm Shadows and anything that Ukraine has been using, 2 to 3 times the range. So that's pretty serious. Okay. For them to suddenly sell Poland 800 plus of these missiles. Okay. That's a sign that something is about to go down. Um, the proposed sale will improve Poland's capability to meet current and future threats by providing advanced long-range strike systems for employment from Polish Air Force platforms. This sale will further advance the already high level of Polish Air Force interoperability with U.S. joint forces and other regional and NATO forces. Poland has already has JSAM ERs in its inventory and will have no difficulty absorbing these articles and services into its armed forces. So they already have these JSAM ERs. I'm sorry. Looks like they already have some of them, but they just don't have a lot. But they just ordered, looks like they want 821 JSAM ERs. It's just very interesting that they would approve this sale to Poland at the same time as the Taurus missiles going on combat alert, high alert in Germany. So a very serious situation, guys. This is extremely serious. Um, we're on the verge of war with Russia, basically. Okay. This could be like the 1940s all over again. Okay. This could be like the 1940s in the sense that, we're already in a war with Russia. We just don't know it yet. Just like how the Allies in World War II were already in a war with Hitler. They just didn't realize it. They were supporting all the European countries with, various types of supplies, the Lend Lease. Okay. And we thought that by just giving the European allies equipment that we wouldn't have to fight Hitler. But eventually Hitler made his way to our shores and he was sending the U-boats over to the Long Island Sound and along the East Coast. And then we ended up having to get involved and we deployed forces to Normandy. And so I think that's the point we're at right now where, we're basically on the verge of the Normandy. We're on the verge of Normandy, essentially, is what's going on right now. I think that I think that basically, we think that just by giving Ukraine weapons and equipment, it's going to make the problem go away, and it's not. Because Putin is just he has a certain thing in his mind, and he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. He's going to keep going and going. He's driven. He has a strong ideological drive. He wants to restore the Soviet Union. And he's not going to stop. Okay. And giving Ukraine weapons is not going to stop him. So, I think we're just going to see a war, between, Russia and NATO. So what's going on, Lynn Dunn? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Light Source Engraving, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I agree. God's soldiers, Jesus is awesome. I totally agree. But yeah, I think we're basically at the 19 early 1940s right now. We're on the verge. We're on the verge. So get prepared. Um, And, want to just remind you guys that the U.S. prepared rigorously for potential Russian nuclear strike on Ukraine in late 2022, according to two Biden administration officials. Okay. So, that's pretty serious. Um, and Ukraine struck some oil refineries in Russia. There was an oil refinery that was hit. And then there was also a fuel depot that was hit the other day. Okay, so Ukraine is striking deeper and deeper into Russia. This refinery right here was like 800 kilometers away from Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine has been building up their long range drone capability. So they're striking deeper and deeper into Russia. And, it's possible that could antagonize. That could antagonize Putin. Um, so But I find it very interesting that Belarus is on combat alert right now. They're doing a combat readiness check. Okay, that is very interesting that they would suddenly decide to do that. Um, so, NYPrepper says, Greg, I just want to thank you for your service. Having you as an aid to being in the know is a blessing in itself. So thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, NYPrepper. I appreciate that. Mary Beth Hammond, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So that's some of the latest news, guys. That's the big headlines is U.S. nuclear forces are just on super high alert today. I would try to play these emergency action messages for you, but I don't have the right setup for it right now. But, it's just absolutely insane. Look at all these planes. It's just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that before. So I'm just trying to warn you guys, okay? Here we have a picture of Putin's doomsday planes going to Siberia this morning. There were several of them that went east to Siberia. It looks like one of them went to Tyumen. Another one went to Novosibirsk. Another one went to Yekaterinburg. And actually, one of them was looping near Yekaterinburg. Okay, so this was in the morning when the Russian partisans announced their operation, and then they flew back towards Moscow afterwards, which is interesting. Okay, so here they are going back. So I don't know what to make of that, but it's very likely that Putin was on one of those planes. And that was in the morning when these partisans made their big invasion. So we'll have to wait and see how far these partisans get. But Sweden, they're warning their people to get prepared. Okay, they wouldn't be warning their people for no reason. And also, just want to mention some of the rules in the chat. Please don't use capitals unless you're a moderator. Only moderators can use capital letters, like all caps. Only moderators can do that. I don't want to have people blasting, all caps. So very interesting there. Okay. Why there would be multiple Russian doomsday planes, I have no idea, but the timing is very suspicious. Okay. Most likely they were trying to evacuate Putin because Putin has shown that he gets scared like a little dog. He runs away. Like when Prigozhin went to Moscow, or he was trying to go to Moscow, Putin and Medvedev were immediately evacuated. If some of you guys may remember that. And so, Putin is afraid of his people. He knows a lot of his people don't like him. And here we have flight paths of a bunch of aerial refuelers over northern Sweden. Look at all these aerial refuelers, guys. KC-135s, KC-130 Hercules planes, all over northern Sweden, looping over northern Sweden. Okay, so something was going on here. This was last night, overnight. Multiple aerial refuelers, absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like that. Here we have an Italian military cargo plane that went to Lithuania, probably moving some military equipment. Here we have a Swedish reconnaissance plane that was patrolling off the Baltic countries in the Baltic Sea, okay, going back and forth along the coastline of the Baltic countries here. All right. And we also had this US RC-135 rivet joint. Okay, that's a reconnaissance plane that went all the way up into the Russian Arctic by the Northern Fleet, by the Kola Peninsula and Murmansk. Okay, Jake 17, it went all the way up last night by the Kola Peninsula. So the only reason they would do that is to see what kind of submarine activity is going on and to count how many subs Russia has in their port over there in Murmansk, the Northern Fleet base over there. Okay, that's where Russia has 2/3 of their nuclear-armed submarines. So NATO is on high alert, okay? They're on high alert. And let me see here. Here's a closer shot of that recon plane, okay? US RC-135 going by the Kola Peninsula there, okay? That's huge for us to send a plane up there like that. I mean, that's literally right off the coast of Russia where they have their most sensitive base. Okay, for them to be doing that, I mean, you don't just do that for no reason, okay? Obviously Russia wouldn't be too happy about that. They're probably not. But we're definitely trying to count how many Russian subs are there and keeping an eye on their naval activity up there. And then also in this picture here, you can see there was a reconnaissance plane that flew through the Baltics by Kaliningrad and up towards Finland. Okay, so you can see where NATO and the US are focusing all their efforts on northern Scandinavia, the Baltics, Poland. But, just insane. 821 cruise missiles going to Poland. It's just a massive number, guys. JSAM-ER, 600-mile range missiles going to Poland. That is huge. Okay. Diane Satari, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And Trisha Mills, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Ross Niderman, yes, very unusual flights. And thanks for all your support, Ross. I appreciate it. And Diane, thank you for gifting 20 memberships. I'm sorry I missed that. Thank you for the donation and the donated memberships. It's very nice of you. I hope you're having a good Monday so far. Thank you very much. And let's see. Here we have some more video footage from these Russian partisans. Let me share this with you. This was in the morning. These Russian partisans, they destroyed some facility. You can see it's burning here in this video. I forget what they hit here. They destroyed some kind of Russian military facility. Okay, but this was actually uploaded by a Russian source. Okay, so I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that's probably a Ukrainian source. It's probably fake. They're probably showing it's not real." It was actually mostly the Russian mill bloggers that were reporting all this activity this morning. So there you have it. There was also some kind of Russian cargo plane that caught fire. One of its engines caught fire today. This was an Ilyushin 76. It's one of the main. It's like that's like a Boeing 747. It's one of the most mass-produced planes in Russia, and its engine caught fire. But I don't. That's the official story. But I wonder if it was hit by something. Like a missile or a drone or I don't know what. But you can see the engine there, on fire. This is a screenshot I wanted to share you guys. All these Russian doomsday planes going to Siberia. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Russian doomsday planes going to Siberia this morning. There was Ilyushin 96-300, an Antonov 148-100E, a Tupolev 204-300, a Tupolev 214, a Tupolev 214SR, and another Antonov 148-100E. Okay, so 6 Russian doomsday planes all going to Siberia at the same time. I have a hard time believing that they just did that for the fun of it. You usually don't see any country sending this many doomsday planes somewhere at the same time unless something is going down. This is basically the same thing Russia did as soon as the war started. They immediately evacuated Putin to Siberia. Okay, as soon as he launched the invasion or whatever, it was like a day before the invasion. It looked just like this. If you go on social media, you can see, screenshots of the flight tracker just like this. There were like 6 or 8 of these planes going to Siberia. So I personally think Putin was on one of these planes and they evacuated him, and then maybe they brought him back or something afterwards when they realized that it wasn't like an imminent threat. But that's just my theory on that. Let me see here. What else did I want to show you? More of these flight paths from today. Just an absurd amount of nuclear warplanes in the air today. Absolutely ridiculous. It's just insane how many there were. So, what's going on, Duramax News? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Sounds good. I'll check Twitter. Sounds good. Let me see if I can show you guys some more screenshots here. Let me see what Duramax sent me. Some news here. Let me see what he sent me. Looks like we have breaking news coming in. Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if its existence is threatened. This is being reported by RIA Novosti. Breaking news. Putin says Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if existence of Russian state is threatened. Okay, so that's what Russian media is reporting this morning in Russia. It's already morning time over there. This is absolutely huge. Belarus is doing a combat readiness check, which is going to involve the movement of military equipment on civilian roads. So yeah, it's going down, guys. It's going to go down. Let me see here. I'm going to read to you some more about this news here. Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if we are talking about the existence of the Russian state, Putin said in an interview with Kiselev for Russia One and RIA Novosti. Weapons exist to be used. We have our own principles. What are they talking about? That we are ready to use weapons, including any weapons, including the ones you mentioned, if we are talking about the existence of the Russian state harming our sovereignty and independence. Everything is spelled out in our strategy. We haven't changed it. Okay, so it's pretty crazy. Okay, Putin says right here, weapons exist to be used. Okay, he sounds like Hitler. I mean, that's just crazy. Weapons exist to be used. That's what Putin said coming out of his own mouth. Okay, that's not fake news. That's not Western propaganda. That's what Putin said himself. Okay, weapons exist to be used. He's going to detonate a nuke somewhere. I'm telling you guys, it's going to either be in Ukraine or possibly in Europe somewhere. It's coming. It's coming. Okay. He wants to restore the USSR by any means necessary. Okay. By any means necessary. He wants to bring back the old Soviet republics. If he has to use nukes, he'll do it because he knows that we're not going to strike him back. If he nukes Ukraine, he knows that we're not going to nuke Russia. Okay. He knows that because Biden has clearly said that we're not going to do anything. We're not going to send troops. You know, Biden has made it perfectly clear that we're not going to do anything. So Putin already knows we're not going to do anything. Jay Hughcraft, thank you for the donation. Wow, that's a huge donation. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a great Monday night. Jay Hughcraft, thank you very, very much. And Diane Satari, another big donor tonight. Thank you guys so much. Diane Satari and Jay Hugh Craft, you guys are awesome. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for supporting the channel. The support, it helps. I have to fund myself and sustain myself. So that kind of support definitely helps. Alpha Omega, good to see you. Alpha Omega Survival Supply. Haven't seen you in a while. I got pictures of a B-2 stealth bomber midair refueling over Missouri today. Oh, wow. That's really cool. Are you going to share it on your YouTube, or do you want to send it to me? I'd love to share those out. That's really cool. Yeah, there was somebody who sent me an email earlier. They took a picture of a B-2. Let me see if I can find that picture. Somebody sent me one earlier today. Might have lost it. I'll have to go back and check. I'll play for you guys one of the emergency action messages from this evening. This was right before I went live. This one emergency action message, they kept calling like radiator was the call sign, and they were continuing. They were asking like nonstop to get like a count or something. Please authenticate. Yes. So this guy kept asking over and over, please authenticate, please authenticate. There were also some emergency action messages going to Robins Air Force Base, Warner Robins, which is pretty unusual. Usually the nuclear forces don't call bases, or bases don't call, the bases themselves. You usually don't hear them communicating on these frequencies. It's pretty rare. So something is going down. Gymnasium says lots of good info here. Thank you, Gymnasium. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Devin Aw says 4 Sarmat missiles and we're toast. I don't think so. That's propaganda. That's Russian propaganda. It would take a lot more than 4 Sarmat missiles to destroy the U.S. And it's not like we don't have missiles of our own. I mean, if they launched Sarmat missiles, we would launch back. And, our B-2 stealth bombers could literally fly over Moscow and just annihilate the whole city if we wanted to. So it's not like we don't have weapons. Our weapons are arguably better than Russian weapons. So it would definitely take a lot more than 4 Sarmat missiles. Don't buy the propaganda. Someone said they couldn't hear the EAM. Why do they want to nuke us so bad? Because America, they, first of all, Russia, the leaders of Russia, Putin and all his gang, they come from the USSR, okay? And the USSR was like the polar opposite of America, okay? And Putin has said himself that the biggest catastrophe was the collapse of the USSR, okay? So he wants to rebuild the USSR. Putin does not like capitalism. He does not like our way of life here in America. And he sees us as a threat. So that's what it is. We are the most powerful country in the world. I know people hate it when I say that, but it's true. America is the most powerful country in the world. We still have the most powerful economy. We still have the most powerful military. And all these countries want to dethrone us. They don't want us to be the top dog. That's what it is. They want to be the top dog. It's a power struggle. Okay, good old-fashioned power struggle. They want to remove us from the top, and they want to supplant us. They want to take over, and they want to be in charge. Okay, that's what it all comes down to. It's as simple as that. I mean, just think about it. If Russia were to nuke us, right? I mean, there would be nothing. I mean, we're the only thing that's standing in the way of Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea dominating the world. We're the only thing standing in their way. If they get rid of us, then they can do whatever they want. You know.
Tango. I say again, please authenticate Papa Alpha Tango. How copy? Over. Authenticate Papa Alpha Tango. I say again, please authenticate Papa Alpha Tango. How copy? Over.
So this one caller just kept asking the nuclear forces to authenticate. Very interesting. Why can't they just leave Russia alone? They're not doing anything wrong. Let them be. They've been fine all this time. The U.S. needs to stay out of it. I wouldn't say that Russia's not doing anything wrong. I mean, they literally invaded another country. They've bombed civilians. They've bombed maternity wards. Okay, baby hospitals. They've bombed civilian targets all the time. So I don't know. You have to check your moral compass. If you think there's nothing wrong with doing that, then there's something wrong with you. They literally invaded another country and have basically tried to commit a genocide against Ukraine. They want to destroy Ukraine. Putin even said himself that he doesn't believe Ukraine is a real country. Didn't you guys see the Tucker Carlson interview? He said himself that Ukraine is not a real country. So what does that mean? He's basically justifying his attack and saying that, yeah, Ukraine was never a real country, so we need to destroy it and exterminate it. That's basically what he was saying. So yeah, it's not so much a matter of leaving Russia alone. We can leave them alone as much as we want, but they're not going to stop, and they're eventually going to attack us. Um, Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Um, that's just the way it's always been. And there's nothing we can do to change that, unless we unilaterally surrender, and disband NATO, which is what they would love, but that's not going to happen. And then even if we disbanded NATO, you know what would happen then? Then Putin would invade all the NATO countries and conquer them because that's what he wants to do. So, there's no easy solution, unfortunately. Lucy Cabrera, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope you're having a good Monday night. Um, Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. The U.S. Constitution is the only legal document that stands in the way of these corrupt organizations from enslaving all of humanity throughout the world. Yes, I agree. I'm a huge supporter of the Constitution. I'm a huge supporter of the Constitution. It's unfortunate that a lot of politicians today think the Constitution doesn't matter anymore. Bailey says the world is trying to take us out like a pack of wolves trying to take down its old leader. Yeah, that's exactly right. They want to take us down so then they can dominate instead. That's what they want. Um, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to destroy America so they can take over. I mean, I I don't know about you guys, but I would rather that America be the top dog than Russia be the top dog. At least, yeah, we have some censorship issues here in the country, but it's nothing like in Russia. I mean, Russia, you can't do anything with it. I mean, you can get arrested for no reason in Russia, you know? So, as bad as it is here, Russia is a whole lot worse. Alpha Omega Survival Supply says I posted the pictures under my community tab. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. Tuesday night. I don't know why I keep saying Monday. Sorry. Yeah, it's Tuesday night. I can't believe it's Tuesday already. Yeah, sorry. Tuesday night. Um, yeah, I was saying Monday night all during the entire stream. I was saying Monday night. Sorry about that. uh, so fortunately, there's no easy fix here. There's no easy fix in this situation. I understand what some of you guys say, how the U.S. Does things around the world, blah blah blah. I get that, but Russia's not innocent either. Okay, Russia's not some innocent country. And we're like some menacing bully. Okay, that's not how it is. Okay, you have to look at it objectively. And what I see is I don't see an objective look. I see criticism of America and defense of Russia at all costs. Russia is innocent. Putin is innocent. He's the savior. He's the savior of humanity. And America is evil. I mean, that's just so backwards. I mean, that's just totally insane. Um, I don't understand how anybody could think that, but there's a lot of people that think that. They think Putin is the savior and America is evil. Um, you know, that's not a fair assessment. I would argue that both Russia and America have their flaws. Okay, but to just unilaterally say, okay, America is evil and Russia is innocent, why don't we just leave them alone? It doesn't work that way. It's not black and white like that. Okay, it's not that simple. I wish it was, but it's not. Drunk Prepper says Putin is more likely the Antichrist. Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, I don't think he's the Antichrist, but I think he could be Gog from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and 39. He could be Gog. Yeah, America will be judged, but every country is going to be judged, not just America. Okay, every country, every person is going to be judged, not just America. America is not the only country that's going to face punishment. America's not perfect, but Russia's far from perfect, okay? Russia is where communism originated, okay? That's where communism started, okay? Don't forget that. Okay, the USSR, gulags, okay? Stalin, the current president of Russia idolizes Lenin. He idolizes these leaders, okay? He refuses to condemn Stalin. He refuses to condemn Lenin. What does that tell you, okay, about his mentality? It just tells you everything you need to know right there. He served the KGB. He joined the KGB when he was like 17 years old or something, 18, 17. Like he just immediately joined the KGB as soon as he got out of high school. And he swore allegiance to the USSR and defending communism. Okay. Do you think that somebody who did that their entire life is just going to suddenly change and forget about that? A leopard can't change its spots. Okay. People don't really change. They are who they are. Okay. He served the USSR as one of the main leaders of the KGB, defending communism, protecting communism. And he's doing the same thing now. Basically, he's the same person. And communism goes against Christianity. Okay, Nick it off. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Greg, my brother in Christ, don't let those naysayers get to you, because for one of them, there's 100 of us that love and appreciate you. Plus, God is happy with you because you have Jesus in your heart. Thank you, Nick it off. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bailey says, I'm always Team America. Despite the wrong, there is no black and white. It's all gray. But I know most of us have our hearts in the right place when it comes down to it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, no country is totally innocent, okay? Yeah, America has done some messed up stuff, but it's not like Russia hasn't done anything messed up, or China, or all these other countries that continuously say America is so evil and we're this big bully. All these countries have done their fair share of bad things, if not worse, okay? A lot worse. We never had gulags, okay? We never had gulags. We never imprisoned millions and millions of people in camps and forced them to work and dig and mine and stuff until they died. We never did anything like that. Russia did, okay? And yeah, it was a long time ago, but that doesn't matter. It wasn't that long ago, actually. That was like 1950s, okay? It's not that long ago. So, you got to look at it from both sides, So let me play this video for you of this partisan group leader. I personally think he could be some kind of Western agent. He may not truly be Russian, but he's supposedly a Russian partisan leader here. His name is Caesar. He's the leader of the Freedom of Russia Legion. So let's just watch this here. He says, "Dear fellow citizens, when cabs flew from Belgorod to the once friendly Kharkiv, Moscow cheered. When border regions were shelled in response to Putin's policies, Moscow was silent. When you were taken as meat to the front line, far from home and loaded into autozaks, Moscow laughed. We are not coming to kill, to erase, to destroy, to punish. We come to free you from poverty, from misery, from uncertainty, from the dictatorship of a terrorist organization that has seized power, to give your children a normal, civilized future without sanctions and repression, without choiceless choice, without talking about important things, but with important values, without war. Putin usurped power for 20 years. And what happened? Sanctions, economic stagnation, a bloody war that took the lives and health of more than 400,000 Russian men, murdered competitors, complete isolation from the world stage, and beautiful places in Galenzik and Novo Ogarevo. And now he plans to go for another term and rule until his death. We won't allow it. We are Russians like you. We too have the right to express our will. And our will is not to recognize a bloody dictator as president of Russia. We will do everything we can to get him to move from Novo Ogarevo to Polar Wolf. Okay, so he's saying we're going to do everything we can to get him into the Polar Wolf jail. That's where Navalny was at before he was taken out. Okay, Novo Ogarevo, I guess that's like Putin's mansion or whatever. We know how they treat the locals there. The Legion is going to the elections. Wait for us. Wow. So that's what he said. He said the Legion is going to the elections. Wait for us. Wow. So yeah, I mean, all the people out there that think that Putin is a great president and he's fighting for his people. I mean, if he's really fighting for his people and he loves Russia so much, why is he sending like 500,000 Russians to the front line? Is that something that a leader would do if they cared about their people? I mean, he's just sending kids, human waves of, just human wave attacks, sacrificing his own people for what? For what? For conquest. He wants to conquer Ukraine. Okay. He wants to conquer it. Okay. He's wrong. Think of how many Russians have been killed unnecessarily because of this war. How many Russians have died for no reason whatsoever, all because Putin has this crazy idea in his head about Ukraine and NATO, or that they're going to attack him or something. All because of him, all these Russian kids have been killed. It's really unfortunate. It's sad, So why is his name Caesar? Yeah, his name Caesar is just an alias. That's his alias. I don't know. What his full name is or anything. Yeah, he has an AR rifle. Um, the blue tape. I'm guessing has something to do with Ukraine. They wear the blue tape to mark that they're friendly forces with Ukraine or something. Ukraine wears the blue or yellow tape to mark their friendly forces. Putin. Somebody wants me to say Putin like Putin. Yeah, some people really can't stand it when I say Putin. I don't know why. It's just it's just the way you pronounce someone's name. I don't understand why that makes people so mad. It's funny though. Some people just get so upset when I say Putin. E6 Mercury flying left of Edmond, Oklahoma. Interesting. That would probably be the 9th one up in the air today. Let me see here. So yeah, what you're looking at on the screen here are Belarus tanks, Belarusian tanks. We still have nuclear warplanes in the air right now, actually. Let me see. Yeah, we have this one here that was up in the air earlier, Rough 07. It's up in the air now. So and I reported earlier today that Ukraine is preparing for a serious operation in Crimea, according to their intelligence chief, Kirilo Budanov. Talking about the recent drone strikes around Crimea, he said these are all preparatory measures for a serious operation in Crimea. Okay, so I don't know what that means, but serious operation sounds pretty serious. And over 100 rockets were launched by Hezbollah at northern Israel this morning. That's the most amount of rockets in a single day since the war in Gaza started. And the Iranian proxies tried to launch a drone at the international airport in Israel, the Ben Gurion airport. Another thing about Putin also is he supports all the enemies of Israel, guys. He supports Iran. He supports the Hamas. He supports Hezbollah. All these groups that are attacking Israel. Russia supports them. So how could Putin be a Christian if he's supporting all these countries that hate Israel and want to annihilate Israel? Let's see. There was a suicide bomber that almost carried out an attack in the city of Jenin in Israel. Apparently, the attack was thwarted by the Israeli military, and this is considered to be a big escalation because we haven't seen a suicide bombing attack in Israel in a while. Ramadan started yesterday, so we have to be on high alert during Ramadan. We have the Israeli defense minister, Yoav Gallant, telling Amos Hochstein, the White House Lebanon advisor, that Israel's going to wait until March 15th for there to be a peace deal with Hezbollah. After that, if there's no reasonable peace deal, then they're going to go into Lebanon potentially. And it looks like there's not going to be any peace deal with Hamas. So that situation is escalating. In Russia, the lawmakers of the ruling United Russia Party, which is Putin's party, submitted a draft law to the Russian Duma on March 11th, declaring Russia's 1954 return of Crimea to Ukraine illegal. The draft bill, which was submitted to Russia's lower house, claims that the internationally recognized return of Crimea to the then Ukrainian SSR, Soviet Socialist Republic, was illegal and contradicting fundamental principles of a lawful state and international law. So basically, Russia is going to pass this law saying that Crimea was always Russian, and even though it was given to Ukraine by, I think it was Stalin. I think Stalin gave Crimea to Ukraine, or was it Khrushchev? I can't remember who it was, but one of those communist leaders in Russia gave Crimea back to Ukraine as a gift, and the Russian parliament is going to basically reverse that. So we also had reports earlier this week that American military personnel may have been killed in a Russian strike on a U.S. supplied Patriot air defense system supplied to Ukraine. This was reported by Russian media. They were citing a Russian lawmaker. When asked for a response to the claims, a spokesperson for the Pentagon told Newsweek, "I can confirm that there were no U.S. injuries because there are no U.S. service members in the fight." So Russia apparently destroyed 2 Patriot launchers worth $10 million each. Not the actual command center or the radars, but just the launchers. Okay, a Patriot missile system is composed of the launchers, the command and control vehicle, and then they have various radars. So that's like a one battery. And really, the most important thing is the radar and the command and control vehicle, because that's what controls all the launchers. And that's where all the expensive electronics are and everything else. So destroying the launchers is not a big deal, really. They're just launchers. It's just literally a tube with a missile in it. That's it. It's nothing really sophisticated about it, and not too expensive to replace. But apparently, potentially, Americans could have been killed because, according to Russian media, Americans are needed to operate them. So I don't know. Khrushchev. It was Khrushchev? Okay. What about U.S. contractors? Technically not servicemen. Yeah, U.S. contractors have been in Ukraine for a while. Um, Aldo Schmedak, good to see you. If there's no sound or video, reload. Yeah, if you have any issues with the sound or the video, just refresh and you'll get the sound and video back. John Hoover says how to refer to Putin in Ukrainian. I'm not going to reiterate those words, but I know what you mean. The Russian Orthodox Church is controlled by Putin. Yeah, that's true. It is. It is controlled by Putin. The Russian Orthodox Church is actually controlled by the KGB and is an arm of the KGB, and they use the Russian Orthodox Church to, spy on people and spread propaganda and stuff like that. Jeff Roberts says Putin is an old school KGB, and as a good commie, a doubtless atheist. He just says he's Russian Orthodox for political reasons, popular with most Russians since the Soviet era bans were lifted. Right. Yeah. It's just like, any of these mafia guys, they say that they're Catholic, because they know a lot of Italians are Catholic, and they try to say like, oh yeah, we're Catholic, we're Christian, to make it seem like they're one of, just normal, like a normal Italian, but it's just a lie. So yeah, I agree. Yep, I've said that for years too. Yeah, apparently the Pope wants Ukraine to negotiate with Putin. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, that could mean that the Pope is the false prophet potentially. He could be the false prophet in that case if he's pushing Ukraine to negotiate with Putin. Um, I was very surprised by that. It's very interesting. And he's getting really old too. I know the Pope is like in his upper 80s now. I think he was in the hospital too for like the flu or something. Um, Putin's days are numbered. Yeah, they really are. The Pope's doing LSD again. Putin is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, for sure. You can't trust a KGB agent. You can't trust a KGB agent. That's the bottom line. Rodney Middleton, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm gonna show the knife. Yep, I will. I'll do a separate video. I think I'll do it as a separate video. I'm gonna hopefully post it this week. Thank you so much for that gift, Rodney. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you to send that. I can't wait to show it to everyone. Um, yeah, Rodney Middleton. He makes knives. He's very skilled at it. I believe he's got a channel where he focuses just on that. I'm not sure if he's still uploading on that channel or not. But he sent me a knife, and I'm gonna do a separate video showing it off to everybody. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you so much, Rodney. My weekend was good. Thank you, Diva's mom. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was good. It was very good. Much needed time away. Pamela, thank you for the donation. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good Tuesday night. Yeah, there's been so many of these trolls lately. Yeah. Lots and lots of trolls. It's insane. Um, what's going on, Country Christian? Good to see you. Did I see the Norway plane off the East Coast? No, I didn't. I didn't see that one. No, Bradley, you're definitely not a troll. That's for sure. Diva's mom says, with all the bad stuff happening, you definitely need downtime or you would go crazy. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Need some time away for sure. A short summary. Short summary is that U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert today. We had 7 or 8 nuclear war command and control planes. Sweden is telling their people to prepare for an attack from Russia. They're telling their people to stock up on 3 months of food and water and medicine because there's going to be an attack this year from Russia. Germany put their Taurus missiles on combat alert, on combat readiness, okay, which means that they're expecting some kind of external threat. So that's those are the biggest headlines, okay? So unprecedented nuclear war plane activity today. And then also we have an emergency meeting of France, Germany, and Poland this Friday. They're going to have a meeting right after Emmanuel Macron is going to be giving a national address on Thursday about sending troops to Ukraine. The U.S. State Department approved the sale of 821 long-range missiles to Poland, the JSAM-ER missiles, which have a range of, I think they have a range of like 600 miles. Yeah, I think 600 miles. So those are some of the latest headlines. That's the biggest news. So we're basically on the verge of war with Russia. Um, the Polish Prime Minister said today that Polish Patriot missile batteries are on high alert. Okay, so Polish Patriot missiles are on high alert. The German Taurus missiles are on combat readiness. Poland got approval for 821 JSAM-ER missiles. Emmanuel Macron holding a national address on Thursday about sending troops to Ukraine. France, Poland, and Germany having a meeting this Friday, an emergency meeting. Swedish authorities telling residents to have 3 months of food, and that Russia's planning to attack Sweden this year. So those are the biggest headlines. And then our nuclear forces are on high alert today. 7 or 8 nuclear war command and control planes, a doomsday plane, a B-52, a nuke sniffer, emergency action messages all day long, nonstop. We also had the deputy chief of the Polish Army General Staff saying that 300,000 NATO soldiers are at a high degree of combat readiness for redeployment to Poland. So he's saying that 300,000 NATO troops are basically ready to go to uh, Poland to back up Poland. Okay, so that's some of the biggest news today. Okay, so get prepared, guys. It looks like it's going to go down. NATO versus Russia, it's coming. And then, of course, we have this ongoing situation in Russia right now with these partisan groups that are vowing to potentially go to Moscow and try to overthrow Putin or something. We had several of Putin's doomsday planes go to Siberia this morning. Belarus is on combat alert. Here's a picture of the tanks in Belarus. Look at all these tanks, guys. Okay. Here we have some Belarusian soldiers doing some exercises. Okay. They're doing live fire exercises. Here we have a picture. I forgot to show this earlier of the Belarusian troops practicing clearing out trenches. Okay. This is very interesting. Why would Belarus train their soldiers to fight in trenches? Well, it's probably because they're going to be sent to Ukraine, because that's the only place in Europe that has trenches right now. So here you can see these 2 Belarusian soldiers practicing rounding a turn here in a trench. Okay. So, absolutely insane. There was also a cyber attack this week on the Russian government, on the Moscow government. There was a cyber attack, ransomware attack. Some hacker group stole a bunch of data from the Russian government. So, yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. Things are just really escalating. Really escalating. Yeah, Nebular or Nebulous or something. Yeah, that was the name of the hacker group. Yep. They conducted a ransomware attack. What's going on, Cat Sui? Oh yeah, Cat Sui. By the way, I was just talking about how in Sweden, the authorities apparently warned Swedish people to prepare for a Russian attack, which could happen this year, and to stock up on 3 months of food. So, yeah, in Haiti, the situation in Haiti is absolutely insane. Um, situation in Haiti is just absolutely crazy. Um, Jacob Martin says, my Polish friend from high school, he lived in a castle in Poland. He is in the U.S. Navy. I seen him walk down my street a few months ago on some bond stuff. Interesting. That's pretty cool. How would martial law affect the elections? It could potentially delay the elections if there's martial law or some kind of a war. I mean, there's not going to be elections if there's a nuclear war, or if there's a war in Europe between Russia and NATO. They probably will delay the elections for sure. Um, yeah, we have that eclipse. We have that eclipse coming on April 8th. I think it is, right? April 8th. We have that eclipse coming. That's another thing. Kat Sui says it's true about the food. Okay. Thanks for verifying that. Um, and if you have any articles you could send me, that would be good. Maybe I can share them. Um, Donna says New York is under martial law already. Yeah, pretty much. Um, New York is already under martial law. Yeah, they sent 1,000 National Guard troops to the New York City trains to supposedly protect, New Yorkers from deadly weapons. But I think it's just a bunch of BS. It's just all about control. It's all about control. Rodney says, I can hear you almost laughing. What would I be laughing at? I must have missed that. Um, uh, why would Putin give a warning of attack? Yeah, Putin's not going to warn anything. He's just going to do a surprise attack. There's not going to be any warning. That's what I try to tell people. It's just going to be a surprise attack. And then the major breaking news that just came in tonight when I was streaming is that Putin said that weapons exist to be used. We have our own principle. We have our own principles. He's referring to the Russian nuclear war doctrine. He said this in an interview. He said Russia is ready to use any weapons, including the ones you mentioned, if we are talking about the existence of the Russian state harming our sovereignty and independence. So Putin is basically reaffirming that he's ready to use nuclear weapons. Okay. So it's just absolutely insane. Let me see if I can find that article. Let's see here. Yeah, there was this big interview. Apparently, Putin's interview with Kiselev for Russia 1 and RIA Novosti will air at 10 o'clock. Interesting. I don't know if that's 10 o'clock. Will air on Wednesday at 10 o'clock local time. So this big interview this Russian journalist did with Putin, it's going to air. It's going to air in a couple of hours. And Russian media is reporting that in the Bryansk region, air defenses destroyed another Ukrainian drone. Wow, lots of stuff coming out here. Putin said that Emmanuel Macron's sharp reaction to Moscow may be related to actions in Africa, Russian President Vladimir Putin admitted in an interview with journalist Dmitry Kiselev. Kiselev asked Putin whether the anti-Russian statements of official Paris could be revenge for the fact that Russia stepped on the tail of France on the African continent. Yes, I think there is some kind of resentment, but when he and I maintained direct contacts, he spoke quite openly on this topic. Interesting. So that's what Putin said about Macron, basically saying that Macron is bitter because Russia has more influence in Africa now. Interesting. Yeah, Putin, Vladimir Putin. Putin. A lot of people hate it when I say that. It just drives people crazy. I don't understand why. Cindy Temple says Biden with nuclear codes, we are doomed. Yeah, that always goes through my head. I'm very concerned about that. Very concerned about it. Let's see here. We got some more news coming in. Oh yeah, here we go. This is coming from Sputnik. Here we go. Before I actually, let me share something here. This is my buddy Alpha Omega Survival Supply. Check him out on YouTube. He's got a bunch of good stuff here on his channel. He also makes EMP bags. I did a review for them before. But these are just like very durable EMP bags, so you can put all your critical electronics in them. They have like a special woven material that blocks out the EMP, and he uses, I believe, Cordura or some kind of strong nylon, and he stitches it all together so it's like a durable EMP bag. So if you want to protect your critical electronics and put them in your bug out bag, um, you have a way of doing that and protecting your critical electronics from the EMP and at the same time protecting them from the elements. So check him out, Alpha Omega Survival Supply. But he said he posted a picture of these B2s or B52. Oh no, that's a B2. Yeah, you can see right here, B2 refueling over Missouri today. Okay, check that out. B2 refueling over Missouri today. So that's definitely not common. Okay, definitely not common. Okay, check that out. What's going on, TW Perry? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Z Cali, good to see you, Z Cali. Biden's nuke password is ice cream. That's funny. I'm not seeing the big depopulation picture. I am seeing it. Yeah, I'm seeing the picture. Yeah. I don't know why you're saying I don't see it. With everyone on YouTube saying Putin, you won't even be able to say the code word pew pew anymore. Big Brother and AI will catch on. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the AI is really getting strong now. It's hard to hide from it. Um I hope you're doing well, Z Cali. So yeah, this was earlier today. Alpha Omega Survival Supply sent this to me. B2 getting aerially refueled, looks like, over, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it almost looks like a doomsday plane, honestly. It has like this thing on the top. Um, Almost looks like a doomsday plane. I don't know. Let's zoom in a little. That's a very rare thing to see. I mean, that's so cool. Yeah, no problem, Alpha Omega. Thanks for the EMP bags and thanks for the picture. No problem at all. Um, Putin is Rosh of Ezekiel 38 in Bible code. Yeah, I think Putin could be he could be the Prince of Rosh or Rus or whatever it is. Prince of Rosh, Ezekiel 38. Yeah, he could be the Prince of Rosh. Yeah. Very, very possible. God's Soldiers. Check out God's Soldiers Watchman. He's got a great channel. He does current events as they relate to Bible prophecy. He does street preaching. He used to do a lot of Christian hip hop. I think he still does some of that. He's really good. Check him out. Good night, God's Soldiers. Thanks for tuning in and for moderating. Yeah, Gog Magog. Yep. Something about Pittsburgh. Black Scout survival video about Pittsburgh. Yeah, I heard about Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm glad I don't live there, but that's every big city's doing that. It's unfortunate, but that's the way that's the trend, unfortunately. And what sucks too is every big city now is trying to outlaw firearms. Making it hard for people to carry firearms to protect themselves. The nice thing about Pennsylvania is we have state preemption. And what that means is that no city or town in Pennsylvania can pass any firearms laws that are stricter than the state laws. So, like, for example, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia can never, like, outlaw concealed carry or something like that. So we have a state preemption law. And that's really important. Having that law like that is critical. Yeah, I miss Lorna too. Yeah, Lorna was taking a break. She's been moderating for like multiple channels, so she's taking a break now. Um, Lynn Dunn says, "You hear that, TW? It's not the same here without you and Lorna." Yeah, it's not the same without TW and Lorna. I totally agree. Ross says things continue to escalate. I totally agree, Ross. They are continuing to escalate. God's Soldier says he still makes Christian hip hop. Yeah, he makes some really good songs, guys. He got to check out his songs. I shared a bunch of them before. Check out God's Soldiers if you like Christian hip hop. Okay, so you have a picture of the aerial refueler and the B2 where it was. Yeah, so it was right here somewhere. Looks like near Springfield, Missouri. That's where that B2 was apparently getting aerially refueled, is what it looks like from the picture. That's pretty crazy. Um, but yeah, the U.S. State Department approved the sale of 821 JSAM-ER missiles to Poland with additional support equipment. Okay, 821 long-range cruise missiles. It's just absolutely insane. Um, they have a very long reach, um, and they have 1,000-pound warhead with Earth penetrator. So the serious warhead, conventional. They're conventional warheads, but for suddenly the U.S. State Department to approve the sale of 800 of these missiles to Poland is a huge red flag. They have a range in excess of 620 miles. Wow. Massive. Which gives Poland a deep strike capability. If there's a war with Russia, they could hit targets deep away from Poland. Um, so we have this post here from Sputnik. Sputnik is a Russian news agency. Says here that they basically summarized Putin's interview with the Russian journalist Dmitry Kiselev. And Putin said that Russia's nuclear triad is more advanced than any other country. He said, from a military technical point of view, Russia is ready for nuclear war, but do not think it's going head on. I don't know what that means, but do not think it going head on. United States developing nuclear forces, but it does not mean they are ready to launch nuclear war tomorrow. If U.S. conducts nuclear tests, Russia will not rule out doing the same. There has never been a need for use of tactical nuclear weapons in the special military operation area. Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if the existence of the Russian state is at stake. Okay, so Putin basically saying that he's not going to use tactical nukes in Ukraine, that there has never been a need to use them. He said Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if the existence of Russia is threatened. He said that the Russian nuclear triad is more advanced than any other country. I'm not sure I agree with that. I wouldn't say that. If you look at the actual missiles they have, their missiles are not really too advanced. They're actually using a lot of old missiles from the Soviet Union. John Hoover says, Greg, they can hit east of the Dnipro River. Yeah, they could. That's probably where they would use the nuclear weapons in Ukraine, would be in the eastern part of Ukraine, most likely. Alpha Omega says the refueler call sign was EXTR001. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. What do I think happens next? It looks to me like Russia's going to attack NATO. Looks like Russia's going to attack Sweden. They're going to attack the Baltics, potentially Poland as well. So that's what I think is going to happen. Michelle says Russia is militarily and technically prepared for a nuclear war, but we are not seeking it. It seems like he is seeking it. If he's continuously mentioning it and talking about it, it sounds like that's what Putin wants deep down, is he wants a nuclear war. He wants to annihilate America and get rid of us because he hates us to the core. Nukes are Teddy Roosevelt's big stick threat. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Uh, when is it likely to happen? I think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen this year. If they attack NATO, it's going to happen this year. The Swedish government already said people need 3 months of food and supplies because Russia's going to attack this year. So yeah, I think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen potentially even this week or next week. I mean, it could happen tomorrow. I don't know. We have unprecedented amount of nuclear warplanes in the air. Today we just had an insane amount of nuclear warplanes and uh, you know various types of nuclear forces in the air. We had emergency action messages broadcasting all day long. So something's going on, guys. Okay. Um, you know, Belarus has put their military on combat alert. Germany has put their Taurus missiles on combat alert. Poland got approved to buy 800 long range cruise missiles from the U.S. Emergency meetings this week with Poland, Germany, and France. The French president is going to have an address to the nation this Thursday. Both the Polish president and the Polish prime minister went to the U.S. today, with the Polish president saying that Russia is spending 30% of their GDP on military spending. 30% of their GDP, guys. That's insane. Okay, that's like what Hitler did in World War II. That's like, 1/3 of their entire economy is going towards war preparations. Okay, so if Russia is only interested in going after parts of Ukraine, you don't need 30% of your GDP to do that. This is about NATO versus Russia. This is about Russia going after NATO. And that's why Russia is preparing and they're spending tons of money because they want to go after NATO. Um, Putin wants his name in the history books. He doesn't care if it's for something atrocious. Yeah, exactly. Putin wants to go down as the greatest Russian leader ever. That's what he wants. He wants to go down in history as the greatest Russian leader, better than everybody. That's what he probably thinks he's the greatest Russian leader. He probably thinks he's better than all the Russian leaders. Um, I don't know how many years he's been in power, since 2000. So he's been in power for 25 years. I think that's more than any Russian leader in the last 100 years. I don't even know if Stalin was in power that long. I think Stalin was like 18 years or something, or 20 years. So Putin has been in power more than, I don't know. I think he's been in power more than any Soviet leader and more than Stalin. So, and he's going to continue. He's going to continue to stay in power for another couple of years unless we take him out or something. Cazetta, what's going on, Cazetta? Greg, remember when I first joined your alerts, I said watch after Poland. Not for sure you saw my post 3 months ago. I don't know if I remember that one in particular. I don't know if I remember that one, but what did you actually say 3 months ago? Yes, exactly. He's in his final stage of life, Bailey. I agree. Yep, I've said the same thing. Yeah, he's in his final stage of life. He wants to have a legacy, and in his own twisted mind, he thinks that legacy should be, wiping out Ukraine and destroying NATO and stuff. That's what he believes. Um, what's going on, Maliaka? How's it going? What's going on, Joe? Good to see you. And Vanessa, thanks for hanging out, Vanessa. Yeah, and this election here in the U.S. is going to be absolutely insane. This election is going to be insane if we even have one. Uh, King Sunny Productions says after that Tucker interview, I realized Putin is not all there. Yeah, he's definitely not all there for sure. Putin is nuts. Yeah, Putin is a babbler. Yep. Yeah, he talks about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Do I think this is a false flag to fully mobilize? Do you think he's going to say Natal backed it? Not sure what you mean, but I think I know what you mean. Yeah, that's another thing. This could be just another reason for Russia to mobilize, to have another justification to, go to war with NATO or something. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a possibility for sure. Um, this was earlier today. Look at all these nuclear warplanes, guys. This is absolutely insane. Look at this. Okay, this is just ridiculous. This was earlier today. I couldn't even fit them on the screen. There were so many. I couldn't fit them all on the screen. It was just ridiculous. And we actually still have. Let's see. We still have two in the air right now. We still have two nuclear warplanes in the air right now. So our forces are still on high alert. Even this late at night here in the US. And on Sunday, there were like five on Sunday, which for a Sunday is very unusual. For there to be five of them in the air on a Sunday is very unusual. Usually Sundays and weekends, there's less nuclear warplanes. Usually you'll see maybe one or two, but there were five on Sunday. K. Paul, thank you for sharing my nuclear war survival playlist. Yeah, check out my nuclear war survival videos. It's good to know what to do in the event of a nuclear war. Um, Nobody wants to live through a nuclear war. It sucks, but it's good to know, some basic things on what to do. Um, how to protect yourself from radiation, things like that. What's a suitable shelter. That's very, very important. And it doesn't cost you anything except a little bit of time. Titan Intel says Russia invaded Ukraine. All these professional gaslighters on YouTube chat rooms can't change that fact, and it was not necessary. Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah, there's no justification for it. I mean, Putin gave the order to invade Ukraine, to blow up Ukrainian cities, to launch missiles at civilians. I mean, he okayed all of that. And then you got Navalny. Navalny was taken out by Putin as well. I mean, he's got a lot of blood on his hands, and you know, he's just totally nuts. And the thing is people here in the West, they want to kind of like, trying to think of the right terminology. We think that Putin thinks the way we do, like a normal person. Like, yeah, you have a lot of people saying, "Well, Putin would never go after NATO. That's crazy. Why would he do that? That would be crazy." Well, Putin's not a normal person. He doesn't think like we do. For us, that sounds crazy, like, attacking another country randomly or nuking another country randomly. It sounds like unthinkable because we personally would never do that. And we never experienced that because this generation never had any kind of big wars. So for us, it seems so unthinkable. But for someone like Putin, it's not, it's not unthinkable. He could easily go after, um, Sweden. He could go after the Baltics. He could go after all of Europe. He could go after America, and he wouldn't even think twice about it. You know. So I think it's coming, though. I think it's coming. It could happen this week. It could happen next month. I'm not sure when, but the Swedish government is saying that Russia is going to attack this year, and people need to be prepared. So I'm sure the Swedish government knows what they're talking about. Um, yeah, history repeats itself. Putin is a Hitler. Yeah, he's like Hitler, basically the same mentality. Obviously different with certain things, but kind of the same mentality. Just a fanatic, basically a fanatic. Alpha Omega says the real bad thing about nukes will be the nuclear power plants melting down. Even the electric grid going down would cause a meltdown. Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, that's very possible. That would be the worst thing because the radiation from a nuclear power plant lasts a long time. It doesn't go away like fallout. So it would be radioactive for a very long time if power plants melted down. Yeah, Maliaka, yes, I agree. People think that Putin is against the New World Order, which is a bunch of bullshit. Um, he's not against the New World Order. He's part of the New World Order, if anything. He went to Klaus Schwab's School for Young Global Leaders. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. Klaus Schwab and Vladimir Putin are like best buds. Actually, Klaus Schwab was Putin's protege. Um, you know, Putin looked up to Klaus Schwab, and he would go to the WEF meetings every year. So yeah, you can't trust Putin. He's not fighting the New World Order. That's just crazy. That's propaganda too. That's the Russian propaganda trying to infiltrate certain groups here in the U.S. They try to infiltrate and spread lies. Bradley says I like the long streams. Oh, okay. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, there seems to be a mixture of people on my channel. There's like half of the people, they just like the quick news updates that are like 20 minutes or less and all the main headlines. And then other half of people, they like just hanging out on the live streams and talking. Um, I don't mind either one. I like both. Um, how much damage can today's nukes do? Oh man, today's nukes are well, they're actually, the warheads are not that powerful like they used to be in the Cold War. The Cold War, the warheads were really powerful. They had like multi-megaton warheads. Now they're only like 100 kiloton or 200 kiloton, but there's just so many of them. So even though they're a little bit less powerful, like on average, most warheads in the US and Russian inventories are maybe 5 to 10 times the power of the Hiroshima bombs. But there's thousands of them, and they're super accurate, and they can be also detonated underground to cause shock waves underground to destroy bunkers and things like that. So it's not so much how powerful one warhead is; it's the fact they have so many of these very accurate smaller warheads, and they can target specific areas, and do a lot more damage that way. It's a lot easier to do damage with many smaller warheads than one big warhead, right? Because with multiple smaller warheads, you can target a whole bunch of targets. Kat Sui says, well, if that happens, Mr. Pooh will wake up the Vikings and the Swedish people and fight. Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I mean, just look at where these exercises are taking place. These exercises are taking place in Poland and Sweden. Those are where these exercises that NATO have been holding, they're taking place in Poland and Sweden. So obviously they're concerned about those countries if that's where they're doing most of their exercises. 30,000 NATO troops in Sweden, 30,000 NATO troops in Poland, both doing exercises there. So those are the key areas, the critical areas are Poland and Sweden to NATO. That's why they're doing exercises there. So that's probably where Russia's going to focus their efforts on. Maybe not directly Poland or maybe not directly Sweden, but those areas around, you know. Um, so, but Russia has a history of invading their neighbors, especially during the USSR. I mean, they tried to invade Finland. They wanted to take Finland, and then the Finns kicked them out. Um, so it's not really out of question historically. Ross says there's major breaking news. Maliaka says, didn't the Jews turn their back on Jesus? Well, yeah, but the Jews are still God's chosen people, so they're God's chosen people. So He'll never abandon them. Lynn Dunn says sorry for the caps. No problem, Lynn. It's okay. No worries. I don't like it when there's a lot of trolls that come in and they use caps, and that's why I have the rule no caps unless you're a mod, because a lot of trolls will start posting stuff in caps and it's very, very rude and distracting. Um, Bailey says Putin said on Wednesday that Finland and Sweden's entry into NATO is a meaningless step and that Russia will deploy troops and systems of destruction to the Finnish border after Finland joins the alliance. Interesting. Well, Finland is already in the alliance, but that doesn't surprise me. Um, Karen says, I love the long streams and the regular video updates. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. It seems like my viewers are a mixture of people who like Putin and people who absolutely hate Putin. It's like a 50-50 mix, I think, on my channel. It's interesting. Yeah, Putin is sketchy. He's hard to predict his next move. Yeah. It's hard to predict his next move, but more or less we know what it's going to be. I mean, generally, we're not going to know on a tactical level where specifically he's going to strike. Is he going to invade Latvia? Is he going to invade Estonia? Is he going to invade Sweden or whatever? We don't know that, but we do know in general that he's going to make a move on NATO. So that's why NATO is drilling and they're moving all these forces to Eastern Europe, because they know Putin is going to invade. They wouldn't be moving 90,000 troops and all that equipment for no reason, because that's very expensive to do. Um, and then, I mean, there's just so much. I mean, I have pages of information I could read off of just all the signs that are pointing to a war with Russia, NATO war with Russia. I have pages of notes that I could read off. Um, it's just, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. I mean, just thinking about it logically, you know, uh, when man created nuclear weapons, it was inevitable that they're going to get used eventually. You know, it's just like, the first rifle was created. It's a weapon. Weapons are built to be used. So to think that mankind built nuclear weapons and we're never going to use them is just foolish. I mean, the U.S. used them in World War II, but those were very small weapons and they were in their infancy at that time. Okay, so it's just inevitable that someone is going to use a nuke again, whether it's Russia, whether it's America, India, Pakistan, Israel, France, we don't know. But, just looking at it logically, it's inevitable that another nuclear weapon is going to go off. It's just that here in the Western world, people refuse to consider that possibility. They think that that's something that's, just in the textbooks that you learn about in school, and that's not going to happen again. And that's just history, and that could never happen. There's never going to be a world war. That's what people think today. They think that war is just, it's never going to happen again. It's just an unthinkable thought for many people. And that's the problem, you know, because war is just, we're almost at the 100-year mark of the last World War. I mean, that's unprecedented. If you look at history, the amount of peace we've had in the last 50 years is unprecedented. I mean, we've gone almost 100 years without a major world war, or even just the last like 30 years, 40 years, we haven't had any major wars. We had little conflicts here and there, but no major wars. And historically, that's unprecedented, and it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever like that. Um, Lynn Dunn is sad. Why are you sad, Lynn? Um, what's going on, Kate? Kate of Buckingham, good to see you. Thanks for showing up. I hope you're doing well. Vanessa says, if not, it's not if, it's when and where. Exactly. Yeah, it's not if, it's when and where. Mr. Quattro 180 says, hey, Greg, hi from the UK. Nukes shelters expected Putin to have used nukes long ago. Seems more reserved than we thought. Um, Yeah, the nice thing about Britain is Britain has a lot of those old bomb shelters from the Cold War that you can still find. If, any listeners out there in the UK, I know I have quite a few. You should find yourself some of those old Cold War nuclear war shelters, and use them to protect yourself if there's a nuclear war. Todd N23 says Putin won't stop, so we can't let him take Europe, so NATO goes in. Simple. Yes, exactly. Yeah, Putin is not going to stop. He said he's not going to stop, so we got to believe him, or he didn't directly say, yeah, I'm going after Europe, but he said he's not going to give up on Ukraine. He said Ukraine is a existential issue for Russia. The situation in Ukraine is existential for Russia, is what Putin said. So that means Putin's not going to give up on Ukraine. He's going to keep going and going. And after he takes Ukraine, he's going to go after Europe. He's going to attack, But I think he's going to probably just go straight after NATO now, based on all these things going on now with NATO possibly sending forces to Ukraine and all these nuclear warplanes in the air today. I think Putin is just going to launch a surprise attack on NATO, like I've been saying for months. Some of you guys who've been following me for the last few months, you've probably heard me say over and over that Putin is going to go after the Baltics or Sweden. So I think it's coming, and I think if anything, it's going to happen before the election. Grimfall Project, thank you for the donation. If we know where Putin is at all times, why can't the U.S. conduct an operation to take him out? Their command structure, then their dead hand system. Um, yeah, that's a good question. There's obviously always risks involved with something like that. Um, that would be a huge risk if we missed or something went wrong and they found out, then that would be cause for nuclear war. So, potentially, I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. has some plan in place to take him out. I mean, the U.S. has all kinds of weapons. I mean, we're like decades ahead of all other countries as far as our military and our technology. I mean, our military technology is just, it would boggle your mind what our military has. I mean, if you guys remember a couple of years ago when Trump was president, there was one time when Kim Jong Un, North Korean leader, wanted to launch nuclear weapons, or not nuclear weapons. He wanted to launch an ICBM. He was going to test an ICBM, and the missile failed right on the platform. It didn't launch. And then Trump said that it was some new technology that they used to stop the missile from launch. So, I mean, we have all kinds of stuff, who knows what kind of technology we have. I mean, there could be all kinds of things we have that could potentially stop, a missile from being launched, or, uh, you know, we could even potentially disrupt them in midair, throw them off course or something. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Um, Kate of Buckingham, wow, thank you so much for that big donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So happy I found your channel. Thank you, Kate. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Really appreciate that. And I hope everything's going well with you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we had 3 big donors today. We had Kate of Buckingham, we had Diane, and then we had J. Hugh Craft. Those are our 3 big donors today. Thank you guys so much. It's really incredible. Thank you. Um, yeah, anti-gravity jets, right? Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Good night, Ross. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all your help. Really appreciate you. Caitlin Ross says, I've been watching your channel for a while. I'm definitely not of the political party of your main audience. What happened? I lost that comment. Where did that comment go? Oh, I lost it. Damn it. Whoops. No worries, Grimfall. You donated enough. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't ever expect people to donate. It's not like I'm not one of those people that's gonna like demand money from people or something. you know, I think that's weird. But there's a lot of channels out there that like force people to donate and stuff. They say, "Oh, if you don't donate, I'm not gonna do videos anymore," or something like that, which is just insane. Um, so good night, Divas. Thank you for praying for me and my family. Thank you, Divas. It's good to see you. And thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well, and have a good day tomorrow. Popular Mechanics mentioned how we can shoot down drones and tank shells with directed energy weapons. Yeah, yeah, like particle beams and stuff. Yeah, definitely. They have all kinds of technology. I mean, even long time ago they tested uh, a plasma railgun in the 90s. The U.S. military tested a plasma railgun in the 90s. I was going to do a separate video on it, but I just don't have time anymore to do those kinds of projects with all the news. But there's something called Project Marauder. And with Project Marauder, they were testing a plasma railgun. This was in 1993. You can look it up on Wikipedia. I'll just share my screen. Um, Marauder stands for magnetically accelerated ring to achieve ultra high density or ultra high directed energy and radiation, was a U.S. Air Force research lab project concerning the development of a coaxial plasma railgun. The first computer simulations occurred in 1990, and its first published experiment appeared on August 1st, 1993. Okay, so for all those trolls out there that say, oh, America has old weapons and Russia is developing weapons that are better than ours. Well, we developed a plasma railgun in 1993. Okay. Russia can't even afford to give boots to their soldiers, let alone develop a plasma railgun. Um, Let me see if I can read some more stuff here. The first Marauder experiment was motivated by RACE, or Ring Accelerator Experiment, which took place in 1991 at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab. The ultimate goal of the Marauder program was to accelerate highly dense toroids containing plasma to high speeds. Such a system could be used for hypervelocity projectiles, X-ray production, and electrical power amplification. The stated goals of the program included studying the formation, compression, and acceleration of magnetized plasma rings. Okay, so a ring of plasma, a toroid, that can be accelerated with a railgun, okay, using an electromagnetic railgun to accelerate it to just crazy speeds. Let's see here. So they apparently they tested this experiment, and then they classified it shortly after. So they actually tested it. It says in 1993, the Philips laboratory developed a coaxial plasma gun capable of accelerating 1 to 2 milligrams of plasma by up to 100 billion G in a toroid of 1 meter in diameter. Okay, so a 1 meter diameter toroid can be accelerated up to 1 billion G, which is 9.8 times 10 to the 11th meters per second squared. So it's just a ridiculous speed. Very interesting. So this is something the U.S. developed, in the 90s, and then they classified the project shortly after. So first published experiment was on August 1st, 1993. So, lasers is old technology. Everybody's talking about lasers now. Lasers is old technology. We've had plasma guns since the 90s. So, yeah, we have the exo-atmospheric kill vehicle. Yes, that's right, Aldo. Thanks for sharing that. Yep, that's what the ground-based mid-course defense system is. This is how we. That's how we would shoot out missiles, or actually warheads. Um, yeah, people forget too that we have a missile defense system, but the missile defense system is mostly for this to protect the cities. That's what the missile defense system is for. It's for protecting the cities. We have like over 100 interceptors or something, which is roughly enough to protect all our major cities. So that the missile defense system would be mostly used to protect any counter value attack. Wow, Bailey, thanks for sharing that information. Vladimir Putin is plotting World War III with 5 steps to ruin Europe. Ukrainian hackers claim documents appear to be signed by Putin and reveal his plans to attack Europe if he defeats Ukraine. Interesting. Um, Bailey, maybe you can send that to me. If you could email it or send it to me somehow, that would be great. If you could send that. Yeah, the Russian hypersonic missile was defeated by the Patriot missile. That's right. The Patriot missile system has defeated the Kinzhal. So that proved that the Russian Kinzhal is nothing special like everybody thought it was. Bailey says the documents are online. Okay, where can I find them? Where can I find them? Good night, Rodney. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to show off that knife very soon. Thanks for sending it. Really appreciate it, and thanks for all your support. What's going on, Salt and Prepper? My dad built a 9-mile tunnel, Denver, and worked on the last stages of Hoover Dam. That's how old I am. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Cazetta says trolls have a super big surprise. That's funny. That's funny. Is the Russian dead hand still going? Have I checked on it lately? And I wonder what the doomsday clock is at now. Yeah, the doomsday clock, they haven't changed it at all. It's basically the same as last year. They haven't changed the doomsday clock. I think it's at 90 seconds. But it should be a lot closer. I think 90 seconds is, yeah, it's still at 90 seconds, which is what it was last year. It should be at like 15 seconds if you ask me. And I've gone over the statement from them why they say 90 seconds, but they're basically saying the risk of nuclear war, climate change, biological threats, and AI. Those are the top reasons why. Those are the biggest threats, according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. So looks like one of Navalny's friends was assaulted outside of his home in Lithuania. Apparently, he was left with a broken arm. Wow. Leonid Volkov, close ally of Alexei Navalny, was assaulted outside of his home in Lithuania. saying, "We will not give up," after the attack. Interesting. He had a broken arm from that. Um, yeah, as far as the dead hand system, from what I understand, is the dead hand system was activated when I was sharing that audio clip of that weird signal that was being broadcasted around the world. That was the dead hand system being turned on, and as far as I know, it hasn't been shut off. So it's still on. The dead hand system is still on. It was activated, and it's still going. Um, so yeah, the dead hand system is still on, basically. So we got some activity here in South Korea. A lot of planes here in South Korea. Korea is the big wild card here. Look at this. We have this recon plane patrolling the DMZ right now in South Korea. South Korea is the wild card. It's possible that they could open up a front in Korea. So this way, the U.S. and NATO have to focus on helping Korea instead of helping Ukraine or Europe. To give us something else to worry about. North Korea, China, Iran, simultaneous, right? Yeah, it could all happen simultaneously, right? North Korea could attack South Korea, China could attack Taiwan, and Iran could attack Israel all at the same time while Russia attacks, Sweden and the Baltics and Poland and stuff. So yeah. Victor Optics, will you keep making videos once the nukes hit? Obviously, if the nukes hit, I probably won't be able to make videos because the power is going to be out. So if I have a way to broadcast, I'll find a way. I mean, if it's using shortwave radio, I'd like to set up like a base station for ham radio and have like a really strong output, and then I could broadcast messages from my base station. So that's something I've considered doing. I'm just not super savvy with ham radios. I'm pretty good with them, but I'm not an expert. So I need to do some more research on that before I invest in that. But that's one of my plans eventually. But I don't know if I'll have time to do that before Russia attacks Sweden and Eastern Europe, which I think is going to happen very soon. So focus on food production. Yeah, food production is good. I have a stash of food, so um, but thanks again to everybody who donated tonight. Appreciate you guys. Kate of Buckingham and Diane and Jay Hugh. Thank you guys for those big donations. I appreciate it, and everybody else. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all the support. Even if you don't donate, it's nice just to read your comments. And, I actually do try to read the comments, actually. So I know who the regulars are, and some really nice people out there who comment on my videos. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. K Paul says, I want the channel number for the ham radio, and good night. Thank you, K Paul, for moderating, and yeah, I'll definitely share the frequency once I set that up. TW Perry, oh, no problem, man. Thank you for all your support. So I think I'm going to wind down the stream now. Um, and I'll be back tomorrow with more updates, and I'll do more live streams this week. So I don't know if I'll be back live tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure yet, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated on everything. But for those of you guys just tuning in, you can go back to the beginning and rewatch the first hour to get all the biggest headlines. So yeah, thanks again, Kate. I really appreciate that. And thanks to all the moderators. Appreciate you guys. But just get prepared because things are getting crazy. Any day now, something big could happen. So, good night, Believer X. Bust out 10 reps. That's funny. Arthur says you're going to check out my nuclear war survival videos. Yeah, they're definitely good. Check them out. I'm going to be doing more nuclear war survival videos too. And I have some stuff I'm going to post on my website, some like reference information on my website. I'm actually currently working on a video on civilian nuclear war targets, and I'm going to post that on my website as well. So it's going to have all the civilian targets. If there's a nuclear war, what civilian targets will Russia try to hit in the U.S.? So I'm working on that right now. I'm going to make a video, and then I'm going to post it. I'm going to post detailed information on my website. So that's coming soon. Tartan Granny, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Little Lisa, Russell, Diaz, Alpha Omega, thank you so much. Davis08. My website is NYPrepper.com. That's my website. But I'm going to be populating a lot of info there soon. Peggy McGuire, Salt and Prepper. Thank you guys so much. Little Lisa says you watched all of my nuclear war survival videos. They were great. Thank you, Little Lisa. I appreciate that. Thank you. Believer X says God will protect you, Greg. I assure you of that. Thank you, Believer. Yeah, I trust in God. I know God will protect me. He's protected me so far, so I'm sure he's going to continue to protect me. So, yeah, we have to make sure we keep our faith in Jesus Christ. Keep your faith strong. Don't panic. Don't, let anxiety overcome you. Just put your faith in God. Prepare as best as you can. There's only so much you can do, but prepare as best as you can and then give the rest to God. Thank you, Aldo. Talon Sin. So Sam Tucker says, my only news man, the best. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. God is happy with you because his spirit is in you. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. MAGA country, thank you. We love your news. I didn't check the earthquakes in this stream, no. But what I'll do is I'll do an earthquake update tomorrow. I'll check the quakes tonight, and I'll update you guys tomorrow on the quakes and the space weather. But just huge news coming out of Europe. It's hard to focus on all these different things. It's so much to look into. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. Sometimes I post stuff on Twitter. Mostly what I do is I actually post all my videos to Twitter. So you can always go on my Twitter and you'll see all my videos there. So have a good night, guys. Thanks for all your support. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to the next live stream, which could be tomorrow. So take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. prepare, practice, and